Welcome to Goddess Behavior, podcast where ancient myths meets modern main character energy.
We're your hosts, Steph and Laura.
No textbooks, just great stories, hot takes, and some unhinged ancient audacity.
So pour a drink, fix your crown, and step into your mythic era. This is Goddess Behavior.
We're getting good at that now.
We're on it now.
We've-
What, 21?
This is episode 20.
episodes in.
So, dragons.
Dragon behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, seems to be the world's favorite mythological creature.
I think so.
You see dragons a lot.
Yeah.
There are dragon stories in a lot of places. And
and they're all different, which we'll get into today, which I think, we talked about mermaids and like sirens, like a lot of those have a common theme.
Yeah.
And while dragons do, it's almost like the tiniest little thread of theme that goes along.
Yeah, they're like loosely related dragons, but they're not.
They're definitely the same group, but not not replicas of each other like some of the mermaids are.
And we'll get into it because I think like paleontology plays a place here.
True.
And also just sort of some countries were closer.
Yeah, so that helps.
And others. Yeah. So.
All right. So every culture has its dragon. Culture separated by oceans by thousands of years, by languages that never touched each other. Some worship them, some fight them, and some become them, which raises a strange question. If dragons are real, why did almost everyone invent one? Today's episode isn't really about dragons. It's about humanity's oldest thought experiment. What happens when one being possesses more power than everyone else?
Every civilization answered that question differently. Some imagined dragons as creators who gave birth to the world. Some imagined them as sacred guardians protecting wisdom, rivers, and entire nations. Some turned them into monsters whose greed consumed everything they loved. And some believed the greatest rulers should aspire to become dragons themselves. Because dragons have never been just monsters. They've always been mirrors. Every dragon story reveals what the people telling it believed power was actually for. And thousands of years later, those answers still shape the stories we tell today.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the common theme is like it's a very obvious reflection of the culture.
Yeah.
And that's how the stories vary, not so much it's not just the physical appearance of the dragon.
Yeah. And I think we see this in other ways too. So we also see like the gods as mirrors
to the culture
of the culture's needs. Yeah. So it's funny seeing dragons in that way.
Yeah, because I think
and how much power they actually had to these people.
Yeah. And I think especially because we think of probably because that's just what we were raised with, like the Western version of dragons, that we're like, how could they be so many different things? It's because we only know one version of that thing, as a whole. So why are dragons everywhere? Before we get into individual dragon myths, we have to talk about the obvious question. Why does every culture seem to have one?
Yeah.
It's kind of a big mystery, to be honest, why there are.
Across multiple continents.
Yeah.
Continents that never interacted.
Yeah, there should be no reason why they both have the same type of creature.
Story and creature, yeah.
I
mean, these cultures are separated by oceans, languages, and for thousands of years, all imagined enormous, powerful, serpent-like creatures. Some had wings, some didn't. Some breathed fire, while others controlled rivers, storms, or the sea itself. Some were wise and benevolent. Others were terrifying monsters. And yet, despite all those differences, one thing remains remarkably consistent. Almost no ancient culture imagined dragons as ordinary animals.
Sorry, guys. We can't get past imagined dragons. So now that we can acknowledge it, we can move on.
Yeah, we're saying, now I'm singing Imagine Dragon songs in my head.
Yep.
And I can't help it.
It's
how I am.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're almost always combinations. Snake, bird, lion, fish, deer, crocodile. They borrow pieces from the strongest, fastest, or most dangerous creatures people knew and combine them into something beyond nature itself. A dragon isn't simply bigger than the animals around it. It's more than nature. It's something more.
Right. So, where did we get that idea from then? There isn't one universally accepted answer as to where these dragons have
Yeah.
come from, but scholars have proposed several fascinating theories. So, one possibility is fossils. Long before paleontology existed, people occasionally uncovered enormous bones buried in the earth. Imagine finding a skull of a dinosaur without any scientific explanation.
Yeah.
It's easy to see why ancient people would have believed that they discovered the remains of a giant monster, right?
Yeah. Because what else would that be? I mean, you got to think these people had no context for this.
Right.
Their context would be folklore stories
Yeah,
or
exactly.
folklore-esque
Right.
stories.
Yeah. Or yeah, and they would create
So they
these
see
ideas.
that giant skull or
Yeah.
giant bone and are like, oh my gosh, it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what we would do. I mean, I think when you remove the technology and the science for the
Yeah,
things we know now,
yeah,
right?
you would still
You're
have the
like,
same
whoa,
situation. Uh, Another theory points to our own biology. Humans evolved to recognize and fear predators like snakes, large cats, crocodiles, and birds of prey. Some researchers believe that dragons combined all of those ancient survival instincts into one super predator beast.
beast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beast.
creature.
The body of a serpent, the claws of a lion, the wings of a bird, and the sheer size of something beyond human control. I mean, if you think
That's
about it,
dragon.
most monsters like
Yeah.
that come up in myth are supersized.
Yeah. Or they're like everyone's worst thing, like personified
Yeah.
or like enlarged.
Right. Well, and the fact that it's so big means it can't be tamed,
Yeah.
which is interesting because I think folklore almost like brings it back down and make that also makes it scary.
Yeah. Campfire story.
Yeah. In many cultures, dragons weren't simply creatures. They're storms, floods, volcanoes, droughts, rivers, and the sea itself given a body. Before meteorology or geology, it makes sense that overwhelming natural forces through powerful beings with personality, intention, and emotion.
Yeah. I mean, my head immediately goes the Greek Titans.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they were like those big,
Personification.
untamable
Yeah, of
creatures
these.
that were personified problems that they were having or
Yeah.
like personified unknowns.
Yeah, things that
Um,
they had no control over. So they're
yeah.
like, must be a god doing that.
Like their very primitive version of
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. The dragon wasn't causing the storm, it was the storm.
Yeah.
Or same with uh, the Titans for that matter.
Which I really like because truthfully, we don't have a lot of dragon tales.
Dragon Tales.
Oh,
I love
that's not
Dragon
in our
Tales.
pop culture one.
No,
It's so good.
it is now. I love Dragon
I do
Tales.
too. That was a classic.
So
I had a
good.
Dragon Tales toothbrush.
Oh, yeah.
That like my mom would buy in bulk so that I could keep having it.
So cute. I love that.
Yeah. It was Cassie.
Listen, we have a lot of dragons in our pop culture.
Yeah, we like dragons.
Yeah, yeah. Over time, dragons became something even bigger. They evolved into symbols for things people couldn't see, uh, but they could absolutely feel: greed, chaos, kingship, divine authority, wisdom, temptation, creation, destruction, and power itself. And that's where today's episode begins, because maybe humans aren't hardwired to imagine dragons specifically. Maybe they're hardwired to tell stories about power, the kind that's beautiful, terrifying, unpredictable, and far greater than ourselves.
Yeah. Or something that could feel like hard to obtain or hard to understand. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Every civilization created dragons, but what they chose to do with those dragons tells something profound about the people telling the story. Some dragons were made into gods, some were made into guardians, some of them into monsters, and some believed that the greatest rulers should become dragons themselves. Those differences aren't really about dragons, they're about what each civilization believed power was for.
Mm.
Yeah, like we were saying before, it's a reflection of that civilization and
Yeah.
how they
It
interpret
mirrors
power.
their
Yeah,
belief system.
yeah. So let's start with the dragon as a god, power that creates.
One of the oldest dragons in recorded history isn't evil. She's a mother, and her name is Tiamat. To understand her, we have to travel back to ancient Mesopotamia. often called the cradle of civilization. This is where some of humanity's first cities were built, where writing was invented, and where one of the world's oldest surviving creation myths, the Enuma Elish, was recorded. But Tiamat wasn't a dragon waiting in a cave. She exists before the world does.
Oh, a primordial.
I love a primordial dragon.
Yes, I know. Oh my God, it
So
makes it even
fun.
better.
Long before humans, before kingdoms, before mountains, before even many of the gods themselves, there was only water: fresh water, salt water, chaos. Tiamat is the primordial salt sea, the vast, untamed ocean that surrounded everything before creation. To the Mesopotamians, the sea wasn't simply a body of water, it represented limitless possibility, mystery, beauty, and danger all at once. It could sustain life, but it could also swallow it whole. Again, we've referenced this
Yeah.
plenty with our water
Oh
episodes.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Tiamat embodied those enormous, uncontrollable forces that existed before civilization could make sense of the world.
So alongside the freshwater god Apsu, she gives birth to the first generation of gods. But those younger gods grow louder, more powerful, and increasingly chaotic. How does that happen? They just get worse? Children.
Yeah. Maybe they were baby dragons.
Oh,
So they
oh,
were just
cute.
hard to manage. That's fine.
Yeah. Apsu decides that they should be destroyed before they become a threat, but he ends up getting killed first. Grieving and enraged, Tiamat raises an army of monstrous beings and declares war on her own descendants.
It's like their version of the Titanomachy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I wonder where they got that idea from. That's when the storm god Marduk comes in. The other gods promise him supreme authority if he can defeat her. Armed with winds, storms, and divine weapons, Marduk traps Tiamat in a net of raging winds before striking the final blow. But what happens next is what makes this myth extraordinary. He doesn't simply kill her, he creates the world from her body. Again, sounds like Ymir.
Yeah.
He splits her into two. The one half becomes the heavens, the other the earth. Her eyes become the sources of the Tigris and the Euphrates. See, I'll come back to
Wow.
that. Mountains rise from her body, and the ordered universe is literally built from the body of the primordial chaos. That's an astonishing idea.
Hmm.
But also not an unfamiliar one.
The world isn't created despite the dragon, it's created from the dragon. Creation and destruction become the same act. It suggests that order doesn't replace chaos, it emerges from it,
Mhm.
which we see that in Greece too.
Yeah, for sure.
Civilization exists because something unimaginably powerful came before it, and that power had to be transformed rather than simply erased. Tiamat isn't guarding treasure, she isn't terrorizing villages. She is the universe before it becomes understandable.
Mhm.
And that's a pattern we'll see throughout this episode.
And we've seen throughout a lot
Our
of
other
this. Yeah.
episodes. Dragons often stand at the boundary between chaos and order, between the known and the unknown, between destruction and creation.
It's liminal.
Liminal creature.
Oh, we just love the liminal, I think. We just keep coming back
We live
around
in
to
a
it.
gray area.
We do. We do. Tiamat reminds us that some of humanity's oldest dragons weren't monsters to be feared. They were the raw power that made the world possible. And perhaps that's why dragon stories have endured for thousands of years. Before dragons became creatures that heroes fought, they were symbols of immense, uncontrollable forces that shaped existence itself. And a reminder that every act of creation begins with wrestling with chaos. Love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
In every place we've seen thus far, that is the case.
Yeah.
So I love that for Mesopotamia too. I
Yeah.
mean, it makes sense.
Being the creator, like I like how it is described as the, oh my God, the cradle of humanity.
Yeah, because it
And-
is.
Yeah, and how this story is the creation of the cradle of humanity. Like it's like the whole thing.
It's the story.
The whole
then.
cycle. Yeah, exactly. Cool. And it's
And
all
you-
started with the dragon. So thousands of miles away from I was gonna say from Mesopotamia because I read Mesoamerica.
Yeah.
Thousands of miles away in Mesoamerica, another serpent becomes humanity's creator. But unlike Tiamat, Quetzalcoatl isn't defeated. He's considered a god. His name means feathered serpent, combining two powerful symbols: the serpent that represented the earth, fertility and transformation, and the Quetzal, bird,
Ah.
whose brilliant green feathers symbolize the heavens, divinity, and the sky. Together, they unite heaven and earth into one single being, a creature that belongs to both worlds.
So already this dragon is different. This
Yeah.
dragon has feathers
Yeah.
and is bird-esque.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which is an interesting thing when you start to think about like information that's come out about dinosaurs having feathers, because we always think of them as being lizards.
Yeah, like I remember when I had to explain to my children that like, no, actually velociraptors are more like a chicken.
Yeah.
They had feathers.
I was explaining that to Bronson too, and he's
Yeah.
like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Like they're
lava chicken."
yes. Which my oldest would love
Yeah.
that comparison. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's weird to think of, like, these combinations of beings.
Creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Aztec tradition, the world had already been created and destroyed multiple times. Makes sense. Entire ages of humanity had risen and fallen before the current one. The people of the fifth sun believed that they were living in the latest chapter of that cosmic cycle. To create this new humanity, Quetzalcoatl journeys to Mitican, the underworld ruled by the god Metalantoculi. There he must retrieve the bones of the people who lived in the previous world. Like so many myths, the journey isn't easy. In one version, the ruler of the underworld tries to trick him, and Quetzalcoatl stumbles while escaping, causing the bones to shatter into pieces of different sizes. The broken bones explain why humans are not all the same. Oh, I like that. Some are tall, some are short, and some are stronger and some are weaker than others.
Yeah. But then all of which would be smaller than the dragon.
Right.
Hmm.
Human diversity becomes part of the creation story itself. Quetzalcoatl carries the bones back to the gods, and he does something remarkable. He pierces himself. He lets his own divine blood fall onto the ancient bones. The mixture of the old humanity and divine sacrifice gives birth to the people of the present age. Human life doesn't begin through conquest, it begins through sacrifice. And Quetzalcoatl doesn't stop there. He brings humanity maize, the crop that would become the foundation of Mesoamerica's civilization. He is associated with knowledge, learning, craftsmanship, astronomy, and the calendar that allowed people to measure time, predict seasons, and organize religious life. Power here doesn't create mountains or rivers, it creates culture, creates agriculture, knowledge, and time itself, transforming scattered people into a civilization. And that's a striking contrast to Tiamat. Tiamat's body becomes the physical world. Quetzalcoatl's sacrifice creates the people who inhabit it. One dragon gives humanity a place to live, and the other gives it a way to live.
Yeah. But not every civilization believed immense power should rule. Some believed it should protect.
Yeah.
Mushu.
Mushu. So, the dragon as a guardian.
So this dragon is power in service.
Yeah.
So Western fantasy taught many of us that dragons guard treasure because they're greedy. Ancient mythology often tells a very different story. Sometimes dragons guard things because someone has to.
Mhm.
Their power isn't meant for conquest, it's meant for protection.
Yeah.
So our first dragon here is called the Naga. Across India and much of Southeast Asia, dragons became something remarkably different. They're called Naga, powerful serpent beings connected to rivers, lakes, rainfall, fertility, and hidden wisdom. Unlike many Western dragons, Naga aren't automatically good or evil. Like nature itself, they can be generous or dangerous, depending on how humans treat them. Mutual respect. Makes sense.
Yeah.
They guard sacred places, human treasures, waterways, and divine knowledge. Their power exists to preserve balance rather than dominate it.
One of the most beloved stories is that of Musalinda. After Siddhartha Gautama attained enlightenment. He sat beneath the Bodhi tree in deep meditation. Then a violent storm arrived. Rain poured and the winds howled. Floodwaters rose, and instead of attacking the Naga king Musalinda emerged from beneath the earth. He wraps his great coils around Buddha's body to lift him safely above the floodwaters. Then he spreads his enormous hood overhead like an umbrella, shielding him from the storm until the sky clears. I'm like picturing like a cobra
Yeah,
situation.
like a big snake.
Yeah,
Really
like
big.
where it would like the hood of the cobra would like
Encompass you, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the gentlest dragon stories in world mythology. This dragon doesn't guard treasure, he guards wisdom. His strength exists entirely in service of someone else's enlightenment. Power in this story isn't measured by what you conquer, it's measured by what you choose to protect,
Hmm,
which you protect what you value. So, this is again a reflection of their culture.
for sure. So I think the first thing I thought was like Naga. Where have I heard that from? Avatar.
Yeah.
So, but what's interesting is like the Naga in Avatar are like these terrifying humanoid monsters that serve Amarantha.
Yeah.
So obviously
Scary.
they're not parallel in the sense that they are the same, because they're not. As we know, SJM takes like these mythological names, right? And so maybe they're not, again, identical to the actual mythological creature, but
Yeah.
it's a mythological name, so it just fits,
Yeah.
right?
So we have to bring it up.
Right. So Akatar flips one of the oldest dragon myths tradition like on its head, right? The Hindu and Buddhist mythology, Nagas are often guardians of water, life, and wisdom. In Akatar, they're transformed into monsters that inspire fear instead of protection.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that modern fantasy often borrows these mythological names while completely reinventing them into something different to represent.
Yeah.
So that's just a little side note.
Well,
but
I think it's also like it's just how you view power. So for Amarantha, that's how she was viewing.
right.
Like she needed that.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were her protection.
Yeah.
So it's not totally off either, where
Yeah. It just is like they were scary
they're
to the
not
people
dragons, though.
to the characters that we like in the story. Like we're not really given
It's,
her
again,
perspective. So
Feyre's lens. So,
yeah.
we love
Mm,
that.
we'll get into that at a different
Yeah.
episode. Unreliable narrators are
yeah.
tricky.
Yep. So Wales imagines dragons protecting something even greater, not treasure or sacred knowledge, but an entire people. We've mostly encountered dragons through European fairy tales or fantasy novels, and the Welsh dragon might completely change the way you think about them. Because in Wales, the dragon isn't the villain, the dragon is the hero.
I love it.
Mhm. So, the red dragon, known in Welsh as, I'm sorry, Welsh people, that's the best I got.
We're trying
We're
so
really trying.
hard.
Thraig Goch. That was better. Let me try it again. In the red, the red dragon, known in Welsh as Thraig Goch, that's better. There we go. I got it on the second try. Is one of the oldest, most enduring national symbols in the world. The dragon still appears on the Welsh flag today, and the story stretches back for more than 1,000 years. I just think of like the Welsh flag is so recognizable
Yeah.
because of the dragon that
Yeah.
was so fun digging into the story.
It's so cool.
It is. It's really good. One of the best known versions of the legend appears in Historia Brittonum.
Mm.
I feel like I have to say it that way, Brittonum, and was later expanded by Geoffrey of Monmouth in his writings about the legend of King Arthur.
Yeah.
The story begins with King Vortigern, who is trying to build a great fortress, but every night the walls mysteriously collapse. No matter how many times the builders rebuild them, they fall again. Desperate for answers, Vortigern consults the young prophet Merlin, known in the earliest traditions as Myrddin or Ambrosius. Merlin tells him the problem isn't the fortress, it's what's buried beneath it. When the hill was excavated, two enormous dragons were discovered sleeping below the earth. One is red and one is white. When they're released, they burst into the sky and erupt into a fierce battle. that shakes the land itself. At first, the white dragon appears stronger, but eventually the red dragon triumphs.
The battle isn't really about dragons, it's a prophecy. The white dragon represents the invading Saxons. The red dragon represents the native Britons, the people we now associate with Wales. The vision predicts that although the Britons will suffer conquest and hardship, they will ultimately endure. That's what makes this dragon so remarkable. It isn't threatening civilization, it is civilization defending itself.
Yeah, it's such a good representation of like culture living on no matter what it faces.
Yeah. And so this immediately, I think, dueling dragons,
Mhm.
I think like, there's so many,
Like ideas of
whether
dragons
it's
that
a
come out.
video game or a roller coaster or
Totally.
like a battle scene in general,
Yeah.
there's like two fighting dragons.
Yeah. Like opposing each other.
Yeah.
Um, the red dragon becomes the symbol of sovereignty, the right of a people to govern themselves. It becomes the symbol of identity, a culture refusing to disappear despite centuries of outside influence. It becomes a symbol of resilience, the belief that survival is its own kind of victory. Even today, Goch flies on government buildings, sports jerseys, and homes through Wales, not because people fear dragons, but because they see themselves reflected in one.
The dragon that survives,
Yeah.
that endures.
This is a remarkable departure from Western dragon stories. Instead of needing to be slain, the dragon becomes the embodiment of a nation's memory, identity, and hope. The dragon doesn't guard the kingdom, the dragon is the kingdom.
Yeah. Enduring on.
Yeah. I just think of like the Wrexham Red Dragons.
Yeah. 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 I mean, again, that's,
It's not a big place, Wales, and I just think like
yeah,
they have such strong
they're
like
so
culture.
proud. I mean, and they should be, right?
Yeah, so the dragon being the kingdom perfectly illustrates what we've been exploring throughout this episode. The same mythological creature that represents primordial creation in Mesopotamia, divine sacrifice in Mesoamerica, and sacred protection in Buddhist tradition becomes something totally different in Wales. It becomes a people, a homeland, a future worth defending. Dragons don't have to have a universal meaning. They become whatever that culture needs them to become. And in Wales, the dragon's greatest treasure isn't gold, but the survival of an entire nation.
Yeah. The protection of their culture and their
Yeah.
being.
Yeah.
Dragon always endure.
But mythology also understood something uncomfortable. Power that begins in sacrifice doesn't always stay there. Sometimes it begins with perfectly ordinary greed. And sometimes that greed transforms someone into the very monster that they feared. And that's where we meet Fafnir.
If one dragon story explains how power destroys people, it's Fafnir. Unlike many dragons in mythology, Fafnir wasn't born a monster. He becomes one. Originally, Fafnir was a dwarf, the powerful dwarf king Raedmar. But in Norse mythology,
They weren't the seven dwarfs. So yeah.
they weren't simply short bearded miners like modern fantasy often portrays them. They were master craftsmen, creators of magical objects, and beings deeply connected to the earth and its hidden wealth. Everything changes because of a cursed treasure. The story begins when the trickster god Loki accidentally kills Raedmar's son, Otter.
Otter.
To pay compensation, Loki steals an enormous hoard of gold from another dwarf named Andvari. Along with the treasure comes Andvari's ring and a curse. Anyone who possesses the hoard will ultimately be destroyed by greed. The curse doesn't take long to work. When Rainmar receives the treasure, Fafnir and his brother Rain immediately begin fighting over it. Consumed by the desire to own the gold for himself, Fafnir murders his own father.
Oh no.
Not an enemy, not a rival king, his own father.
That's not a good start to the story.
Yikes. Then he carries the treasure into the wilderness, isolates himself from everyone he once loved, and slowly transforms into a dragon, spending the rest of his life coiled around a mountain of gold that he never actually uses. It's one of mythology's most haunting images, a creature so consumed by the desire to possess wealth that possession becomes its entire identity. The transformation itself is important because it's both literal and symbolic. In some versions of the myth, Fafnir physically becomes a dragon. In others, the emphasis is on how greed twists him into something monstrous. Either way, the message is the same. The treasure doesn't make him more powerful, it makes him less human.
Sure. Um,
Like he let something else consume him.
sure. Yeah.
Eventually, Rain convinces the young hero Sigurd to kill Fafnir so they can claim the treasure. Sigurd forges the legendary sword Grom, digs a trench beneath the path the dragon regularly travels, and waits. As Fafnir crawls overhead, Sigurd drives the sword upward into the dragon's heart. But even in death, Fafnir has one final lesson to teach. As he lies dying, he warns Sigurd that the cursed treasure will destroy him too. At first, it sounds like the bitter words of a defeated monster. But Fafnir is right. Rain immediately plots to murder Sigurd and keep the treasure for himself. Sigurd discovers the betrayal and kills Rain first. But the curse doesn't end there. The gold continues to pass from hand to hand, leaving betrayal, murder, and tragedy in its wake throughout the Volsung saga and beyond.
Yeah. So, like, the dragon dies, but the greed lives on.
Like the ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's what makes Fafnir so different from dragons like Tiamat, right? Tiamat represents the wild, untamed forces that exist before creation. What's fascinating is that nobody starts the story as a dragon. Fafnir becomes one. And the dragon isn't a species, it's a consequence. Greed transforms him long before the scales ever appear. His body simply catches up with what the choices he has already made.
Actions have
And
consequences.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
curses have a consequence for
Yeah.
sure. And
It's,
usually there's a reason that you're getting cursed to begin with. So,
yeah. That was a choice. I
yeah,
mean,
yep. um, oh, yeah. Okay. I have a point here. That's
Okay.
why I'm like, where are we going? Unlike Tiamat, whose immense power becomes the foundation of the world, Fafnir's power shrinks his world until all that's left is a big pile of gold. One dragon gives everything she has so that the world can exist. The other gives up everything so that he can have a treasure that only he could ever enjoy.
Yeah.
Power hasn't changed, but its purpose has. And maybe that's why Fafnir became the blueprint for so many Western dragons. From Smog in The Hobbit
Mm.
and countless dragons sleeping atop a mountain of treasure, we continue to tell stories about creatures who mistake possession for purpose. Because Fafnir teaches one of mythology's oldest and most uncomfortable lessons. Sometimes the thing you're guarding is the very thing that can destroy you. So, like we were saying, like the first thing you think of is Smog. I think it's like
Yeah.
impossible not to make
And the
that
ring. Yeah.
parallel, right? Um, but I also just think of like dragons hoarding treasure, like that's where this is coming from, right?
Yeah. The
And
dragon in the cave blocking the treasure.
right, or
Or the
guarding the
knight that
princess, or
has to go slay the
right,
dragon to
yeah.
save the princess. Yeah.
No, and it made me think of before in Zodiac Academy. That's how the dragons refuel their power is by sitting on a top of gold, like laying on gold. So like they have hoards of treasure, but
Yeah.
that's how they like replenish their magic.
Oh my gosh. Through gold.
Through wearing gold. Like they like it's really funny. They're very like comical in their writing style. So they like
Yeah.
they'll be like, oh, his power sources are low, so he has to like put on this like big gold gaudy chain and like lay on a pile of
Like
coins.
Miami Dolphins.
It's
Right.
really funny. Yeah, it's like it's so good the way they explain it. But it's like the way they recharge their power. It's gold by wearing lots of drip.
Can that recharge me? Is that
I know, I
acceptable?
wish. Like, same. Oh, it's so
Perfect.
funny. So one civilization asked a completely different question. What if becoming the dragon isn't a tragedy? What if it's the qualification? Because in China, the dragon isn't a monster the hero must defeat. It's the model of a ruler everyone hopes to become. which also makes a lot more sense for Mushu.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the dragon as legitimacy.
Because China never developed the same suspicion of dragons that medieval Europe did, instead, dragons became symbols of ideal rule. This is usually the point in the episode where Western listeners realize they've been imagining dragons in a very specific way.
Hmm.
If your image of a dragon is a fire breathing monster sitting on a mountain of gold, waiting for the night to slay it, that's largely a European tradition,
Yeah.
right? In China, dragons tell a completely different story. The Chinese dragon isn't evil. It isn't something heroes are expected to kill. For thousands of years, it has been one of the most revered and auspicious creatures in Chinese mythology, a symbol of wisdom, strength, prosperity, protection, and divine authority. Even its appearance reflects that worldview. The Chinese dragon isn't one animal, it's many. The antlers of a deer, the horns of an ox, the scales of a carp, the claws of an eagle, the body of a serpent, the whiskers of a catfish. Instead of belonging to one creature, it combines the strengths of many. It isn't nature, it's nature perfected.
Which is funny because it sounds weird when you like piece it together, and like the antlers is obviously different than what we think of, but like
Yeah.
if you think of what a traditional Chinese dragon looks like, it has all of those elements in it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look that out of place from a European dragon.
I'm just
They're
picturing.
different, but not that
I
far
mean,
off. I mean, they're
yeah,
pretty
it's
close.
just like it's different in the way that like Asian elephants are different from African
Yeah, that's a
elephants,
great way
right?
to put it. Yeah.
Like they just have different.
Same species, different subtype. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, like, I picture the dragons in the parade in Mulan.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, like more snake-like in its body shape, but
Yeah.
otherwise essentially very similar to a
Very
Western
dragon-like.
dragon. Yeah, like I was just listening to you read the description and I'm like, that sounds so bizarre, but when you like go piece by piece, you're like, actually, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they look like. That's exactly what it is.
I just immediately was like, oh yeah, like in Mulan.
Yeah.
Like the parade dragon.
Yes.
With all the little kids inside.
Correct.
Right? They walked
Yep.
in for the parade in. Rather than breathing fire and burning villages, Chinese dragons are deeply connected to water. They govern rivers, lakes, rainfall, and storms. Again, it's a country placing a dragon over water.
Yeah.
So, like, with the water being so vast and unknown,
Yeah.
you could see it, right? How
Yeah.
they would need an entity
Yes.
to just kind of help explain all
Yeah.
all
All
of
the
that.
stuff. Yeah. Yep.
In an agricultural society where every harvest depended on seasonal rain, dragons weren't terrifying. They were essential. A dragon wasn't a threat to survive. A dragon was a blessing to pray for.
Right. Many traditions describe the four dragon kings, or Long Wang, each ruling one of the seas surrounding China. Each dragon king governs a different direction and controls the weather within its domain. So I'm assuming like north, south, east, west.
Yeah, I'm sure. They're very directionally oriented.
Yeah. If the rain came at the right time, the crops flourished. And if they didn't, famine would follow. So people offered prayers and ceremonies asking the dragon kings to bring rain, because dragons didn't simply control nature, they maintained a balance. That connection between dragons and harmony eventually became inseparable from kingship itself. For centuries, the Chinese emperor was known as the Son of Heaven, believed to rule through the mandate of heaven. His authority wasn't based solely on military conquest or bloodline. The ruler who governed wisely, protected the people, and maintained harmony between heaven and earth was considered worthy of heaven's approval. The dragon became the ultimate symbol of responsibility. The emperor sat upon the dragon throne. He wore robes embroidered with 5-clawed imperial dragons, a design reserved exclusively for the emperor himself. Palaces, temples, and ceremonial objects were covered in dragon imagery, not because dragons represented domination, but because they represented sacred duty of leadership.
So, unlike many European kings who proved themselves by defeating dragons, Chinese emperors demonstrated legitimacy by being associated with them. Power wasn't something to conquer, it was something to embody responsibly. That philosophy even extends beyond the emperor. Chinese tradition speaks of the 9 sons of the dragon. Rather than inheriting identical roles, each son develops different strengths and responsibilities. One adorns temple roofs, another decorates bells, another protects bridges, another guards gates or weapons. The lesson isn't subtle, but important. Power isn't one thing. It takes different forms depending on what a community needs. So think of branches of government.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly. Explaining
broken
how
down.
community needs like leaders of all kinds, kind of
And how you all have to
work
act
together.
simultaneously, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Even today, dragons remain woven into everyday Chinese culture. Every year, communities celebrate the Dragon Boat Festival with their elaborately decorated boats racing across rivers in honor of ancient tradition and the enduring symbol of the dragon. During
Mhm.
Lunar New Year, dragons dance through the streets as symbols of prosperity, renewal, protection, and good fortune. Thousands of years later, and the dragon is still celebrated, not feared. I also just think of like the Chinese zodiac.
The year of the dragon.
It's also like the only one that's mythical. All the other animals are quote unquote real.
I don't think it's because I just don't
It's
think it's
'cause they're
mythical
not.
to them.
Yeah.
I think that to
Well,
them,
it's not. Yeah, it's specifically to the Chinese, I would
yeah,
agree. Um, but I do think it's interesting that it's included with all these other.
like the monkey. So just for example,
Yeah.
my Chinese zodiac is
So
the monkey.
we're
Yeah.
the
Oh
same.
yeah, we
Yeah.
would be the same. Right.
But it's the rat, the ox, the goat, it's like
Yeah.
all of these very like
Snake.
yes, it's
Yeah.
something that you would see. Like
Yeah.
any
Pig.
yeah, pig,
Yeah. They're like common animals, and dragon is one
horse.
of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting that
Yeah.
they get like thrown in there kind of. It seems out of place, but now knowing this like how
Or like
much it
how they
represents it.
perceive them.
Mhm.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But it also makes sense that maybe people that are born of the dragon year to them are probably pretty special.
Oh yeah. Blaze is born of the year dragon.
Of course she is.
And my husband.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really
Yeah,
cool,
two dragons
actually.
in my
Yeah.
family. Different kinds though. So I don't know if you guys know this about Chinese zodiacs, which we could get into this as an episode too,
This
I'm
is fun
sure.
too, yeah.
So
Because they have stories behind all of these too.
yeah, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean the story of the zodiac is really cool.
Yeah.
But you also get an element.
Mhm.
So kind of like we talked about with
Yeah, like a fire dragon, a water
correct.
dragon. Yeah.
So I think a lot of people don't know that, but they kind of just know, oh, I'm this animal. But
Yeah.
they have the extra elements get added in there and it changes the
Tells your
dynamic too. Yeah.
more of your story for them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another episode.
And again, the
Yeah.
Chinese don't do anything on accident.
No.
They're very intentional with their things. So
Very
the stories behind these are really fun.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do
Lots
those
of
a different time.
luck and superstition too.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
to them was very, very real. So,
definitely.
and it's fun how they applied it.
Yeah.
So we'll do that another day.
So one story that captures the relationship between dragons and leadership better than any other is the story of Yu the Great.
According to Chinese tradition, a catastrophic flood threatened to destroy the world. Earlier rulers had tried to stop it by building dams, barriers, logical things,
Yeah.
yes, to stop water, smart. But the waters only grew stronger. Yu chose a different approach. Instead of fighting the water, he learned to work with it. He spent years digging channels, redirecting rivers, and allowing the floodwaters to flow naturally toward the sea. In some versions of the legend, dragons assist him by dragging their tails through the earth to carve riverbeds. In others, Yu himself transforms into a dragon as he reshapes the landscape. Either way, the lesson is the same. The greatest ruler doesn't conquer nature. He works alongside it. That's almost impossible to imagine in medieval Europe, because in so many European stories, the hero proves himself by slaying the dragon.
Right.
Or they lose themselves underwater.
Right.
I mean, I think like there are two sides to this that
Yeah.
we've seen.
Yeah.
the Chinese here are presenting it completely, they're working with it,
Yeah.
which is brilliant.
Well,
So
and
there we
they're
go.
yeah, I mean, their culture is so much about, like, harmony and, like,
Yeah.
working with things that it fits
It's
perfect.
again, it's with the respect thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's something their culture does very well.
Yeah, good yin and yang.
Yeah.
In a Chinese mythology, the ideal ruler becomes dragon-like. Those aren't just different dragon stories, they're different philosophies of power. One sees power as something dangerous that must be defeated before civilization can flourish.
Yeah.
The other sees power as something sacred that, when guided by wisdom, creates harmony and allows civilization to thrive. Dragons don't just have one universal meaning, they become whatever the culture sees as true power.
Yeah. I really like this version. I think this was something that
It turns it like
we're
into something that we are not used to, but I think it works so well with like the power being something that represents the people so well.
yeah, I really like it.
Yeah.
I like that the dragon is worshipped and helpful and
Yeah.
like
Seen
us.
in a different light than what we're used
Yeah,
to.
I
Yeah.
think it's just odd because that's definitely not what we're shown in our TV shows or
Definitely not.
movies, games, any of it. So I like that this is different.
Yeah.
I mean, what we see now is we've really have yet to stop telling dragon stories.
Yeah.
They're all
Dragon
over.
tales.
I mean,
Yeah.
whether again, it's like with pirates where you see dragons for kids.
Yeah.
You see
Oh, all
dragons.
different versions of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you see so
totally.
many versions of dragons in
Yeah.
our pop culture. So,
I mean, I think the most like off the top of my head, I think House of the Dragon.
oh yeah, I think well, especially because we've been we've been watching it.
True.
But House of Dragon is no, not a good way to bring up wyverns.
No, no.
Yeah,
Well,
can't do it.
well,
Can we do it?
oh yeah, we can because they are wyverns. They're not dragons, and I have to talk about it. It's really
Okay. On the surface, House of Dragon is about dragons. But anyone who's watched the series knows the dragons aren't actually the main story. The power that comes with them or like behind them
yeah,
is.
right.
That's the point. That's
Yeah,
what they're all literally and figuratively fighting over.
absolutely.
The dragons are living nuclear weapons, which, yeah, I mean, seeing two dragons fight in that way is,
It's crazy to think about.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean
it's a
it's
mythical fight if we'll ever see one.
it's the Welsh dragons,
Yeah,
the red and the white dragons. It's what makes me think of it. It's
it is.
very like uh, Trigok.
Tra- yeah.
um, it, it's what we think of, I think, when we think of like
Yeah,
dragons fighting.
well, and it's like again the imposter versus the
Oh yeah,
one who feels like they're rightly
they're right.
entitled to the
Yeah,
throne.
true, true.
Yeah,
Um, so I have a problem with House of Dragons.
yeah, I do too. But go
I
ahead.
think we've all got the
Yeah,
same problem.
yes,
So for those who don't know this,
Mm,
they're they're not dragons, guys.
they're
They're
wyverns.
wyverns. So to put it simply, a dragon has 4 legs and 2 wings. Those dragons in that show do not have 4 legs. They
Two
have
legs.
like arms that act like their
Their
wings
wings. Yeah.
and then 2 back legs.
Yes.
Whereas like a
What's another popular dragon? Toothless. Toothless walks on four
yes,
legs.
right.
Yeah.
Toothless has 4 legs
Toothless
and
is a
wings.
dragon.
He's a dragon.
Mhm.
So I have a very hard time watching House of Dragon not being, but it's a
When you're
but
looking at
it's
wyverns.
a wyvern.
Yeah, for sure. And they're all that way. They're all wyverns,
All of
technically,
them are technically
by
wyverns.
definition.
Yeah. So I'm not totally understanding why they chose that for this show, but sure.
Other than the whole Game of Thrones series talks about them as dragons and like the
Mhm.
Tale of Dragons, the House of Dragons. The language was already there. I'm wondering if George R. R. Martin just like interprets it that way.
I guess.
I
But
don't know.
it seems odd.
Yeah. Because to us, it is a wyvern. And for people who read fantasy, they're wyverns.
Yeah.
Um, but
Oh. Interesting.
The whole thing, House of Dragon.
They are interchangeable, the name, like wyvern and dragon. It comes from like medieval Europe, and that's why we have issues because there's like conflicting texts where they use it both ways. Yeah.
Interchangeably. Yeah.
Um, medieval artists drew dragons with 2 legs and with 4 legs and with no wings and with wings. So it's like very
Which,
conflicting, which because it's no rule book. It's not like a, these are not real creatures. So
well,
you
I
run
mean,
into this problem.
you also don't have, like, even from a paleontologist's
Right.
standpoint,
There's
you
nothing.
don't have a whole preserved dragon.
No,
So, like,
there's nothing to go off of.
yeah.
They're just making it up, right?
So I guess that's fine.
Yeah. So
I just think you and I are very, like, logically, if you go by a definition, which we have,
Mhm.
then they're wyverns, not
Yeah.
dragons.
So like our version of what I like, how I just explained it comes from like a much more modern interpretation. And that's why I have an issue with it because when, like George R. R. Martin, when he wrote Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
knew like this is not new information. It's
Yeah.
actually from Dungeons and Dragons and like
So many,
whole
there's
yeah.
so many other
So
ways
um
that gets.
yeah, it's more modern authors are determining like which one is which, but to me, I can't unsee them as wyverns. So
I
that's just
know.
where I'm at.
Well, I'm just like, wait, their arms are their wings.
Yes, exactly.
it's-
I just have a
I'm
problem.
like, wait,
It's
that's
just
a
it's okay.
But so the dragons in House of Dragons literally determine who sits on the Iron Throne, who wins the wars, and then therefore who is the legitimate heir.
Right.
So entire political systems revolve around who can ride one. And what's interesting is that even the Targaryens never fully control their dragons. They bond with them,
Right.
but dragons remain sort of this unpredictable
Yeah.
creature.
I mean, they choose their rider. They grieve, they rage, like they're their own entities themselves.
And we even see them, like when one dies, they choose a new
person.
rider.
Yeah. And it's very like mythological feeling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if dragons have represented power through history and like trying to wield something bigger that represents this big unattainable power seems just
And for them, it never really belongs fully to one person
right.
because humans die.
Right.
But dragons, I mean, unless they're killed in like some
they
epic
live
battle
for
or
a
something,
long
they
time.
live for a while.
True.
They outlive their riders, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, like it presents this bigger question of what happens when humans think they can control something that powerful, right?
Yeah. When for them, it never is going to truly belong to only one
Right.
person.
Yeah. So back to wyverns. It's hard not to think about our favorite wyvern, Abraxos.
We love Abraxos.
Yeah.
So, Throne of Glass. So Sarah J. Maas takes a slightly different approach with the At first, they're introduced as terrifying war beasts, but then we meet Abraxos, and suddenly everything changes. Abraxos is gentle, curious, and fiercely loyal despite being raised for violence.
Yeah, so like even though there's technically not a dragon, like they're fulfilling the same like idea.
Yeah, and imagery wise, right? They
It's still
ride
dragon.
them, they
Yeah.
fly with them, they train with them, feed them, care for them.
They're bonded in
still a
different way.
very bonded
For sure.
relationship. Yeah.
His relationship with Manon Blackbeak becomes one of the most emotional hearts of the series because it's built on trust rather than domination. Together, they challenge the idea that strength has to be cruel. Their story becomes one of healing, freedom, and choosing compassion over the role society assigns you. So sweet.
So for the witches in this series, right? They don't necessarily choose their dragon, or wyvern.
Yeah.
Their wyvern chooses them.
That's right. Yeah.
And so when she is like presented with these big, strong options, like she was given the opportunity to have the biggest, strongest dragon or like wyvern. See, even
I know. Yeah, I know. Well, they're like we said, they're interchangeable.
In Throne
so
of Glass,
okay.
they're wyverns.
Yes.
And she chooses Abraxos,
Yeah.
who is smaller.
Yeah.
And the men in charge are like,
Why?
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, don't do this. This isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
She's like, No, he's mine.
Yeah, like
That's
he's
it.
like the bait beast.
Yeah, he's like the runt,
Mhm.
essentially, of the
Yeah.
litter. And she chooses him anyway.
And she, like, helps rebuild his wings and, like, with the spider silk, and
Mhm.
I just love how she, like, sees something of her in him and is like, "He's not broken, like, I will show
Yeah.
you that he is stronger than anybody out there." She sees, like, the scrappiness in him, you
Yeah,
know?
and she chooses to, like,
She has a
train
good
him and
heart.
help him
Yeah.
instead of, yeah,
Loves
belittling him like everybody else.
Yeah, I know. Uh,
So we love Abraxos. I
yes.
also love Manon.
Yes. Yeah, the monster turns out to possess more humanity than most of the humans around it,
Absolutely true.
and he
Especially when
loves
we're
his powers.
talking about other yeah, when you talk about the other witches and then the men that were not capturing them, but like housing them
Yeah.
initially. It was not nice.
No, it wasn't. It's another reminder that the dragons, or dragon-like creatures in this case,
Yeah.
are rarely just monsters. They're mirrors reflecting the choices that people make around them
Yeah.
and who
And so
encounter them.
her choosing not to dominate it,
Yeah.
but to
Harness its power.
work along with it,
Yeah.
harness her own power in
Yeah,
the
it kind of
process
yeah,
is
you're right. It gives a Chinese dragon.
it does.
Yeah. Similar to Fourth Wing.
Fourth Ring returns to one of mythology's oldest ideas. Dragons are intelligent beings with agency.
Hmm.
They aren't horses with wings. They aren't pets. They aren't weapons. They're ancient creatures who make their own choices. So in Rebecca Yarros's world, riders aren't assigned dragons. The dragons choose their rider.
Hmm.
That relationship has to be built on mutual respect, trust, and worthiness. That's much closer to older myths than many people realize. Across mythology, dragons are often guardians of wisdom or sacred knowledge. You don't conquer them, you earn their respect. They recognize strength of character as much as physical strength. The series also asks an ancient mythological question: are you worthy of power?
Um, Not because you want it, but because you earned it.
Yeah,
Like, you've earned it through this mutual trust and relationship that you
that you're trying
build.
to build.
Like, if
Yeah,
dragons are representing power, that
right.
you have to gain the power. It's not just given to you because you quote unquote deserve it, or
Yeah.
you have some kind of authority of your
You're
own
not
as it
a
is.
queen of a dragon.
Right. Yes, exactly. Mother of dragons.
Yes.
um
In Fourth Wing, we see like a monster
mhm.
become the mentor. So, like,
Right. Taryn is like her mentor, teaches her how to use her powers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the thing that you feared becomes the thing that you have to be chosen by.
Yeah.
So, like, it's flopped.
Yeah. And it's again going back to Welsh or like Gaelic, Ternanach.
Yeah.
And The Hobbit, it comes back again. We've talked about it a little bit before with
Because how
Fafnir.
could we not?
Yes. But Smog is arguably closest descendant, right? If you want
Yeah.
to think of it that way.
Of that Norse mythology story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's brilliant, charismatic, terrifying, but most importantly, he's greed made flesh.
Yeah.
He doesn't simply own the treasure, he sleeps on it. He's
Obsessed.
invested.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think when you think of Tolkien, it's impossible not to think of Norse. We know he's
Yeah.
inspired by Norse mythology, just looking at his work at a brief, right,
Yeah.
overlook, which we would love to get into Tolkien, related to Norse mythology and many other mythology. But
Yeah. Mythology in general, but a
yeah,
lot Norse. Yeah.
yeah. But that we have to narrow
That's a
down. It's
doozy.
a lot.
We would have to that would have to be
We have to bring in some reinforcements, I think. Someone who
I
really
might know a guy.
knows a lot about that. But
Yeah, I might know a guy.
the dragon isn't dangerous because he's hungry. He's dangerous because he believes possession equals purpose. That's why Smaug remains one of literature's greatest dragons. He's not simply guarding the treasure, he has become the treasure.
Yeah, the power.
Yes. Very precious.
Yes. Look across these stories and you'll notice something remarkable. The dragons are never just exciting creatures added for spectacle. They're symbols. They are the main character.
Yes. I mean, yes.
How could they not be? But anyway, they're symbols. In House of the Dragon, they represent political power. In Fourth Wing, they represent power that must be earned through partnership. In Throne of Glass, they remind us that loyalty and compassion can transform even creatures bred for war. The Hobbit, they become the ultimate warning about greed and the corrupting nature of wealth. Thousands of years after Tiamat, Fafnir, and the Red Dragon of Wales, we're still asking the same questions. Who deserves power? Can power ever truly be controlled? What happens when we seek it for the wrong reasons? The dragon may have changed, but the myths haven't. That's why dragon stories never go out of style. That's good.
Wow, Imagine Dragons and Taylor Swift in the same episode. See, she always ends up coming up somehow.
My
But
brain is really happy.
yeah.
Anyway, every generation finds a new way to tell them. Every generation has to wrestle with power, fear, ambition, and transformation. And dragons remain the perfect creatures to carry those stories forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the dragon has never represented power on its own.
Yeah.
It represents what power reveals. Give one person absolute authority, and mythology asks, do they become Tiamat, creating worlds? Do they become Fafnir, unable to love anything except their possessions? Or do they become the Chinese dragon, whose legitimacy comes from serving the people rather than dominating them? That's why dragons have never really disappeared. They're not fantasies, they're thought experiments. Every generation invents new dragons because every generation has to decide what power should look like.
We need a dragon. In America.
That's what
I'm getting.
Oh, an American.
Yeah, we need a dragon.
What would an American dragon look like? Put that in the comments.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, what do you think an American dragon would look like?
It's like a bald eagle.
Oh, it's got to be the head of an eagle.
Head of an eagle.
Absolutely. All right.
Big dragon wings.
It's got to be monstrous.
Are we thinking 4 legs or 2 legs?
2. 2 monstrous legs.
Yes. Yeah, like a wyvern. It's a wyvern.
Yes.
Not a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're a more modern country than these other guys.
True. And then I'm thinking like Hungarian horntail, hit tail situation.
Yeah.
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 Like full firepower situation.
We got to be the ultimate dragon.
Exactly. Wow.
Says the Americans.
Anyway, moving on. This is just built in us. We have no choice.
We can't help it.
No, we really can't. So why do we feel like dragons still matter?
We still tell dragon stories because we still argue about power.
Yeah.
It's still such a big source of contention between, just in our own country, but also in relationship to other countries. Yeah. So globally, power remains a
topic of conversation constantly.
And it doesn't have to constantly be a struggle per se, but it is constantly a piece of world discussion.
Yeah. Who should lead? Who deserves wealth? Who deserves to have knowledge or protect knowledge?
Yeah. And what deserves to be protected? I mean, I think like a lot of it, power comes from a lot of different sources. And I think for us, power is capitalism. That's just how our country operates. But what power looks like to other people might be a little different.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, whether you're talking about politicians, billionaires, CEOs, celebrities, or fictional kings, you're still asking the same question that ancient civilizations had asked for thousands of years. Not whether power exists, but what kind of person should be trusted with it. And that's why dragons have never gone extinct. They just have simply changed shape.
Absolutely.
And with great power comes great responsibility. I'm going to say that.
You spidey.
No, and I think that's what they represent, is that there's a lot of weight to power, and that not everybody can handle it, and
absolutely,
or should handle it.
Should. True. And the people who protect power are very important.
Yes.
You spidey.
Yes.
An Iron Man.
Captain America. The Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there's mythology there other than Thor, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, every civilization imagined dragons. Imagined dragons. You guys, it's terrible. I don't know why I did
So
this to
bad.
myself.
Well, did they imagine them? Here we are.
Well, that's the
You know?
question. That's the big question. Did they imagine dragons?
I think they saw something.
I think there's more to the story here.
Might not be illegitimate. Well, they get to say what's a dragon because they came before us.
Exactly.
If they say there was a dragon,
I believe it.
there was a dragon
Yeah, sure.
to them.
I agree. Because we don't have record of it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think I have a theory that
I
they're
have to say that
dinosaur
loosely,
related,
but yeah, I think that they're dinosaur adjacent.
yes, if not dinosaurs.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think especially with the Mesopotamian one
Yeah,
having feathers, I'm like, oh, you were a pterodactyl.
yeah, totally.
But anyway,
Yeah, Quetzalcoatl is like a feathery
Feather-
serpent that gives Velociraptor to me. Like, how do you not?
yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like
So,
it gives dinosaur
yeah,
without calling them a dinosaur.
yeah, written down in any way that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
passed down from
Well,
so
especially
long.
if you're talking about Mesopotamian history
That's
here.
what I'm saying.
It's like
that's as far back as we
ancient.
get as far
Yeah.
as history goes. So,
Yeah.
of people,
So if on all of these continents we're having a large flying creature
Yes.
with varying degrees of skins and heads and
Yes.
claws and wings,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I agree.
What keeps it from being myth?
Yeah. You're right. I think that's a good question. What do you guys think? Do you think that they were real? Do you think they
Yeah,
went extinct?
Yeah,
Do
do
we
we think
think
dragons are real?
they are dinosaurs, or do you think that they're their own thing?
Like
Or
like with
like
the
you said,
Chinese, like a
adjacent.
combination of creatures that
Yeah.
we recognize today. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good question. Ooh, which one would you rather have encountered with? A Chinese dragon, a Welsh dragon, a Norse dragon, Mesoamerican dragon?
Welsh dragon
Yeah.
or the Chinese
I
dragon.
just wanna, witness it.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them, to be
No, I gotta
honest.
ride it.
Oh.
I do.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
fantasy
Violet.
reader, the fantasy reader in me is like,
Yeah.
nah, I gotta write it.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, I
Fair.
gotta figure that out.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Which dragon do you think represents leadership the best?
Ooh.
I mean, they're different, so it's hard for me to choose one that I feel like is that's the best one. But
I think the Chinese did it very
I
well.
love the Chinese dragon.
I like them working with nature instead of against it.
Yes.
I like the mutual respect there.
It also transforms this big scary quote unquote monster into something good
Yeah,
that we don't
workable,
usually
right?
see. Yeah, so
Like-
I like that part of it.
That's why they have rice farms. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it became a big piece of who they.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that geography created the environment for them to grow their rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you think why do you have some cultures that have see that dragons need to be defeated or conquered in order to have this power
Right.
versus
Others
trying
who
to
are
harness it in its own way and
wait,
be in harmony with
we
it.
can work with this.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
keep you. We
Yeah,
can work with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause to be honest, it's hard to say. I think America would want to fight it. That's safe to say.
Totally.
We would want to fight it.
We would want to
be
capture
like,
it and use it against our enemies.
we would be like, wait a second. You're huge and powerful.
We like that.
We need that.
Yeah, turning it around.
Let's breed you.
Yes,
Is
yeah,
probably
yeah.
how that would go.
Truly.
I mean, right or wrong, right? That's just how that would turn out.
Totally.
In my head.
The Chinese would have already figured out how to do that in a very nice and
They'd already be
harmonious
riding
way and infiltrated us before we even captured our dragon.
Yeah. Or in How to Train Your Dragon, right? They would have already, that's Scandinavia.
It is.
Yeah. So they would have already had them trained and ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd be late to the game.
Yeah.
But ours would be bigger and better.
It would. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We have one giant dragon, kind of like Drogo in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But they have lots of smaller, better dragons.
Yeah. And we're just no, we'll bully you.
Yeah,
It's fine.
no, we have the biggest
Don't
one.
worry.
Yeah. Sure.
So awful.
So-
anyway.
Oh, here's a good one. Which dragon would win in a popularity contest? Smaug, Drogo, Toothless, or Tern?
Oh my gosh. And you
No,
didn't even
or
say
I'm sorry,
Abraxas.
I was like, I'm missing one. Abandon Braxos.
Abraxa.
I mean, I love
I
Abraxos,
love
but I also love Terran.
uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not that.
And Toothless is cute.
I love choosing. Oh no.
Yeah, they're all good in their own way.
Okay, who's gonna win in a fight? Who would win a dragon fight
Out of which ones?
out of all of those?
Oh,
Unstoppable.
Drogon?
Jo-
Drogon. I'm saying Drogo, which is
Yeah,
something
it
else.
took me a second, but
Like,
then I was like, oh yeah, I know who you're talking.
yeah. Yeah, I think unfortunately that's just how that one's gonna.
Mm,
But then again, he's just the biggest, like we were just saying.
mm. Yeah. So who wins if you've got to pick a dragon to win a fight? Which one would you pick?
Abraxas is pretty scrappy.
Yeah, Toothless too.
Yeah, true.
Not without his rider though.
Yeah,
So
like
that's a
Abraxas
hindrance.
is.
Strong man.
Well, Manon is part of
Yeah,
it
he
too.
also needs Manon.
The
Not
Terran.
depend. Yeah.
Terran. It's between Terran and Drogo.
Yeah.
Drogon.
Drogon. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's between them.
That's where I'm
That's a
going.
hard one, to be honest, especially with the lightning. Who is Daenerys? Duh. Oh, yes. We're not just talking about Drogon versus, oh my God, Terran. We're talking about Daenerys versus Violet.
Mm.
Like, Violet has power, so I feel like it's not fair.
That's a different battle. I don't think you can.
Like, if you
It's
do
like-
dragon versus dragon, they're probably pretty, like, I would assume, like, size-wise, they're pretty.
Well, once you
big.
throw in magical powers, it
hard.
just becomes a different battle. But I think if we're talking about, like, we see plenty of dragon battles in Game of Thrones or like House of Dragons, right?
Yeah, true.
Where I think it's Balerion. It's the
Yes.
strongest dragon.
Yes.
And then Vagar
Vagar, yeah.
and Dragon. Yeah. Because Vagar's massive.
Yes.
That's Vagar. But yeah, so we'd love to hear any answers that you might have or thoughts.
Yeah.
But
I think this is a fun episode. I liked it.
dragons are cool.
Yeah. Dragons are cool. And I love that they're all different.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Especially like we were saying at the beginning, like mermaids and some other ones are
Salt-peas,
like bleed together of like similar ideas. And dragons, while they might look similar, they're really very different stories.
They serve different purposes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
So
That's it. Till next time, guys.
bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please follow Goddess Behavior and leave a review. It helps other legendary mortals find us.
Questions are always welcome. No oracle required.
Stay bold.
Stay curious.
That's Goddess Behavior.